Glad you joined us today. This is Pastor Greg Mayhorn from Freedom Word Church, and I just want to say that we are having a wonderful time in our church in this season. It's just like a spirit of revival, a spirit of encouragement. We are hungry for God, for the things of God, for the move of God, and if you are in the Central Virginia area, please join us every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, every Wednesday evening at 6:30, and then on Monday nights we even have School of Prayer. We'd love to have you in any of our meetings because God is moving and good things are happening. We're talking about people we need in our lives. And I first began by talking about there are some people we really don't need, that we have to put some distance between us in order to move on to the greater things that God has for us. And our example, of course, was Abraham dealing with his nephew Lot. The first person on the list of people we do need that I wanted to give to you is a pastor. Everybody needs a spiritual shepherd. A pastor is a spiritual father. A pastor is one of those people, if they're anointed of God and they're the person you're supposed to be connected to, they're one of those people who help untie the knots that situations and circumstances sometimes create in our lives. They bring clear and concise wisdom, the word of the Lord, into situations. Many times our answers are far more simple than what our problems seem to be complicated. And it's important to look for those simple words of encouragement, instruction from the Lord, and many times it's through a godly pastor that's going to come. So I encourage you to be connected. The second person I want to talk to you about today is a mentor. Everybody needs a person or people, many times there'll be more than one, especially over the course of a lifetime, more than one person who have already done or are currently doing things that we want to do. Things that we feel like we're supposed to do with our life. This has to do with purpose. This has to do with reason for being here on the earth, why God put us here, our connection to His calling and purposes. And many times there are people who have already done what we're wanting to do, or they're already doing it. And those people are people who can not only inform us about those things, but they can inspire us. Because if God has called you to do a certain thing, and He's already called someone else, and they've done it successfully, then you can do it successfully. God is no respecter of persons. I know we're all unique, we're all individuals, and we don't need to be trying to be carbon copies of others. God doesn't want that either. But there are people who can help show us the way. And one of the things I've noticed is that it's easy to be intimidated by our betters and elders, those who have already done what we want to do. To be intimidated and think, well, I could never get there, so I'm not even going to try. I could never do it that well, so I won't even practice at it. I could never be at that level, so I'm not even going to try to get there. Don't ever accept those lies. Understand that God can take us to places we've never been. And it's not an age issue. It's amazing to me how many people in our culture today think that once they get about 40 or so, that pretty much it's over. Whatever you are, you are. Whatever you've done, you've done, or you're doing. You might do some more, but, let's just look to winding this thing down, and we're going to just go off somewhere and sit around for the last 10, 15, 20 years of life and do nothing. That's not the plan of God. Some of the greatest heroes of the Bible were not people who quit when they were 40 or 50 or 60, but they persevered to do great things for God. And one of the ways that we can have that kind of a spirit and tenacity is by connecting to people who can mentor us, people who can help us. These are people that God will use to bring us to a place of a greater level of productivity and a greater level of blessing in life. And so instead of being intimidated by successful people, let them inspire you to follow in those kind of pathways. And as you do, God will bless you.